Hello, what's up guys? It's Will back once again for another fight card prediction. We're going to be breaking down UFC on ESPN 6, Reyes versus Weidman, or UFC Boston, whichever you may like. I'm going to be breaking down this card in a little bit there. If you are new to the channel and you'd like to hit that subscribe button, by all means do it. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I would much appreciate that. But yeah, looking forward to this card. It's on a Friday night, so you guys need to get all your DraftKings things and picks for anything, all your bets in for Friday night. I'm sorry if I sound a wee bit off. I've just had the cold, a heavy cold, and the flu over the weekend, so I'm a little bit nasally, as you could probably hear. So yeah, I'm a little bit kind of off weather, but I'm getting there. First thing I want to start on is really this poster giveaway. Something's going on in YouTube at the minute where I cannot see comments, but I go to my email address and people are leaving comments saying they've left comments, but I come onto YouTube saying they're reviewing all my comments. So people, hi Arthur, people have been leaving them, but I cannot see them on YouTube. I cannot see them at all. Because I know Rob, who watches all my videos, has been trying, and I just cannot see them. So I know some people left their picks. What I did, I put in the community page last night that I want people to send me to my personal email address. You will go, if you go to my YouTube page, go to the community, you will see the post there, you will see my email, and send your picks there. Send your picks to me, my email address, and then on Thursday I will try and put out the people that have sent me the teams, and I'll maybe put out the teams that they have as well, or I might just keep that secretly and we'll go from there. But that's what we're going to have to do if we want to get this poster thing going, because I can't see comments on YouTube. I don't know what is going on at the meantime. So yeah, that's what we have to do. I want to get that out of the way straight off the bat. So nice to see a couple of you guys in chat there. If you can, give the video a like. The more likes it is, the more people out there in the big wild world of YouTube can go and see it. And if you're new to the channel, just hit that subscribe button if you're interested in sticking around. Like I said, this card's fairly decent, so I'm looking forward to kind of talking about some of the fights here. No bout order here, I'm going off what I see on Wikipedia. And it's got an announced bout down there with Brendan Allen against Kevin Holland. This is the first one I'm going to start off with. I like Brendan Allen as a fighter. I think that he's nice to see him in his UFC debut. But he's got himself a tough fight here in Kevin Holland. I really like Kevin Holland, but the guy messes around so much, and he gives his opponents opportunities to stay in fights far too long. I think he's got good skills, but he just doesn't fight up to them in his fights, and he's just a dangerous fighter to, like, I've came across this guy, like, I think I've bet him 3 times in a row, and he's won all 3 times. But Rob, my man, get in touch with me on my email, send your picks there. I've been having troubles on YouTube, so let me know. I've bet Kevin Holland the last 3 times, and I've been sweating my tits off betting this guy. And it's honestly, I think that he plays around one too many times. He's going to get caught out, and it might be this time here where he gets caught messing around too much, talking too much, and he's just going to lose the fight through that. I just think it's going to be another one of these fights where he in spots in this fight, he's going to be looking really dominant and looking decent, but he's given his opponent opportunities to really stick around and stay in the fight. And when you watch Brendan Allen, he came through the LFA, he won, he was on the LFA there, he fought, I think, for the title a few times, went 5 rounds a few times, which is something I always like in fighters, that especially if they go those 5 rounds. Like I say, I think Brendan Allen's a really kind of live fighter here if he can get the game plan right. Because I think Kevin Holland, the way he fights and the way he is, he's going to give you opportunities to win the fight. Even if the fight's close, one of these times Kevin Holland's going to get the wrong end of the decision, and he's going to be shouting off and being pissed off that he got robbed and this and that, but he gives his opportunities to people to win the fight. He's got skills, he's got good jiu-jitsu skills. I've watched a BJJ match with him, and he actually got some decent skills down there. He's long, he can vary up his attack a little bit, and yeah, but when I heard this fight get put together, I think he got pulled off the Brazil card. He was against Antonio Arroyo. He was supposed to be fighting in there, and that was a fight I thought Arroyo had a good chance there, and I do think Brendan Allen's got a good chance here. I just think it's going to be another one of these fights where he could get taken down, he could get laid on for large periods of the fight, but I think that, again, I think he's going to edge it, but I would not bet Kevin Holland because he is just ready to lose a fight, in my opinion. It's coming soon. I just don't know whether it's going to be. So I'm going to pick Kevin Holland. Close decision. Heavyweight division, Daniel Spitz, Tanner Bosa. I kind of see this going the way of Bosa. I think that Spitz has the more opportunities to finish the fight, but I think the longer the fight goes, I think Bosa can initiate like clinch positions up against the cage, tire Daniel Spitz out a little bit, get him to the ground, and that's pretty much what Tanner Bosa is. He's not really a guy with big knockout power. He's not a super athletic guy, but he's very strong, fairly durable for 15 minutes. Like the fact he went over to Russia and fought a couple of the beasts over there, stuck around and did all right on that scene. Was supposed to fight, I want to say, one of the Canadian cards, and somebody pulled out. I can't remember off the top of my head who that would be. But like I say, I think early on Daniel Spitz might start off strong, but I think later as the fight goes, I think Tanner Bosa's going to take over. I think he's going to, like I say, kind of use that strength advantage that he's got. And Daniel Spitz is a long, rangy guy, so he could catch kicks, maybe take him down through off that. But if Spitz uses his boxing, keeps him at range, doesn't kind of get into a fight where they're kind of swinging bombs, he doesn't really gas himself out, then I think that Tanner Bosa can win. I think that Daniel Spitz can win the fight, but I've got that funny feeling that Tanner Bosa's going to clinch him up. That's a tiring position all the time anyway, and kind of edge out a very, very, very close decision. But yeah, Tanner Bosa's going to be my pick there. Welterweight division, but Court McGee against Sean Brady. I've got Sean Brady here, in my opinion. I think there is value actually on Court McGee at plus 200 though. Even though I love what I see with Sean Brady, I think he's an undefeated 10-0 guy. Comes out of Philly, I believe it is. A Daniel Gracie black belt. Very, very fluid on the mat. Very, very good with his skill, like both skill sets. Switches up a little bit with his stance a few times. Not flat-footed. He's very fluid. That's a good word for him. In my opinion, just a very, very fluid fighter. He's only got like 2 submissions, even though he's a black belt. But like I say, very accurate with his strikes, very precise, and he mixes up well with his wrestling to his striking. Very, very good fighter with very, very good fight IQ. That's how I see him, and I think he's going to be a really good fighter in the UFC for many years to come. And I think he's kind of catching Court McGee at the right time here. He's definitely at the tail end of his career. We all knew about him back in the day. Very, very durable, hard guy to face, would never give up. Heart of a lion type guy. He came overcome a lot of personal stuff, but he's losing more fights than he's winning nowadays, and he's in this spot here where they're trying to feed the youngsters coming into the UFC. Wins against these guys who are known veterans, won the Ultimate Fighter. But this could be the spot here. I don't mind a play on Court McGee, honestly, at plus 200. I think that line's off. I don't see that line's way off for me. But when I watch Sean Brady, I really like watching him fight. And that's kind of where I'm going here. I think that it'll be close initially, but I think just not the durability, like the varying skill set that Brady has, where he can take it from the feet to the mat, and maybe not keep Court McGee there. What's Brady good at? I think Brady's really, really good at everything. I think he's a really good fighter on the feet. I think he's very, very fluid with his wrestling, and I think he's good with his jiu-jitsu. I honestly think he's a good fighter across many facets of MMA, in my opinion. But, like I say, someone said it's a good card for underdogs. I think there is some really good playable underdogs here, and yeah, I wouldn't mind a shot on Court McGee, but I'm going to go with Sean Brady here. I actually think he could maybe catch a submission on Court McGee. If not, I think he wins a fairly dominant, not dominant decision, a 29-28 decision. I think McGee will have points in the fight where he looks a little bit kind of dominant, but yeah, I've got Sean Brady in that one there. Bantamweight division, Randy Costa against Boston Salmon. That, the Khalid Taha knockout of Boston Salmon was nasty. Like, super, super nasty. And, like, He has really good fundamental boxing skills as Boston Salmon. Like when you watch some of his boxing fights, when you watch some of the other fights, he really is very fluid in a lot of the stand-up exchange. I just think he's a really decent fighter, honestly. And then when you look at Randy Costa, when I was watching his regional shows, it was like he was just being. First, I think he's in the UFC a little bit too quick, but when this guy, he had a lot of a lot of support, a lot of I think they fought a lot in like his hometown and so on. They call him I hate his nickname like Zohan, which is a little bit. But in his UFC debut against Brandon Davis, he came out swinging bombs and totally gassed himself. You can't do that. You've got to pick your shots. I think probably just the excitement of being in the UFC and being in the big show and having all the bright lights there, and he overswings. And I think Boston Salmon could pick him apart with his boxing. But the way Randy Costa swings, if he lands a big shot in Boston could go down there. But like I said, I just think Randy Costa's a little bit too early. But he's fighting in Massachusetts, and he'll have a large swell of fans being there in the arena. And he's got that UFC debut out of the way. He's got the jitters out of the way. And I kind of think he's got a shot here, but I think the Boston Salmon is going to, when Randy Costa is throwing big, vicious haymakers, I can see if Boston Salmon doesn't get caught, he's going to start using that better technical striking. He's got better footwork. Just don't get caught with a big shot, and I think he can outlast Randy Costa across the 15 minutes. I also think he could stop him as well. Like I say, he got that big loss out the road against Khalid Taha, got caught, it happens. Just don't let it happen again. And like I say, Randy Costa, he has an arsenal of kicks as well, which he has to be careful of. I'm not the Zohan kick. He's got this thing. If you watch his regional fights and the comments, the Zohan kick, and I'm like, dudes, that's some weak shit. So, the kind of way I see it going, Boston Salmon on the feet. I just think he's classier. I think he's more technical. I think he's a little bit more faster, a little bit more crisp, better counter striker. Just don't get hit with a big shot from Randy Costa. Like I said, I think he's a little bit too early in his UFC tenure, but he's fine at home, so that's going to be a big thing for him. Got Boston Salmon, TKO round number 3. Kyle Bochniak against Sean Woodson. This is a really good fight. This is going to be fireworks, I think. When you watch Kyle Bochniak recently, he's tough, he's very game, he's very durable, and he comes to put on a show. That's what it seems to be recently. Got totally beat by the far technical striker in Hakeem Dawodu. It was close, but Hakeem was landing it well. Let me see what the stats were for that fight, because I remember thinking initially at the time that he was getting out hit, but I think it was, he was getting absolutely hit, like 3-4 to 1, like 103 strikes that Hakeem landed, signature strikes. Kyle was trying to kind of mix it in with the striking. He just wasn't crisp enough. He wasn't fast enough with his striking, and that never led to him just getting outstruck. But he did get a couple of takedowns, tried to pass position. Hakeem looked like he kind of improved in that a little bit, and he really just got out kind of struck for that fight there. There's a beat fight early on. He was in dire straits in that fight. Came into it, tried to, and that's always a beat that sometimes he fades off a little bit when it goes after 7-8 minutes. But he still won fairly convincingly. He mixed in takedowns, and I just think it was the way Kyle Bochniak was kind of screaming and shouting that people initially thought that fight was kind of closer than it really was. But he did kind of get his ass beat by Zabit. Beat Brandon Davis. That was a very, very close fight. He kind of mixed in takedowns there. Jeremy Kennedy, he lost that very, very convincingly. He was the one that was getting taken down. Now, you look at this Sean Woodson. This guy's got an absolutely massive reach advantage, massive height advantage. He's got, 6 inches in height, 9 inches in reach. Very, very explosive. You've seen him in the Dana White show. I think he finished that fight with a flying knee. But like I said, a big guy for 145 pounds, like a really big, big dude. But he's only 6-0, and yet you're facing someone in Kyle Bochniak who's only had double the amount of fights he's had, but he's probably had half of those fights actually been in the UFC, and he's got UFC wins, and he's a tough matchup. I actually like Sean Woodson here. I like the athleticism. I like the explosiveness. I just think this is going to be a good fight here. Bochniak seems to love revel fighting at home, which most fighters will, obviously, because you're fighting in front of your people. But yeah, I've got Sean Woodson here. I think that he could catch him with the more flashier strikes. I can see Bochniak getting some takedowns. I think this will be close. I don't know what the betting odds actually on this are. Let me just check. Not that it really matters, but I'd be surprised if Bochniak isn't the favourite. Let me see. Bochniak's the favourite. I just like Woodson. I think, like I say, I think he's got more variety. I think he's got more things he can show. But can I see him maybe getting taken down and held there? Possibly. But excuse me, I'm going to take Sean Woodson to win this fight, pretty much, yeah. So, moving on, we are in... What division are we in? Oh, Molly McCann. Molly McCann against Diana Belbita. I've got Molly McCann. I've got a win in this fight via stoppage. Little bit surprised that Diana's got signed to the UFC. I've known about Diana for a long time. She fought a former UFC fighter in Christina Stanchu. Now, if you've been around these prediction videos for a long time, you'll realise, and you probably heard that she wasn't great. She had a UFC tenure where she kind of got her ass beat. She was game, but she got her ass beat pretty badly. When she's faced anybody of kind of... She's faced a couple of people that have got to the UFC. Ariane Lipsky, she got submitted in the first round at KSW. There's a couple of fights out there where she comes out and her and this opponent are just swinging absolute bombs. And it looks like to me that Molly's putting everything together. I really do. I think that she's finally starting to get comfortable with her being in the UFC. I think her fighting at home in Liverpool against Gillian Robertson was a tough thing. She had a lot of pressure on her. She was showing it on fight week when I was there. Which is going to happen when everybody's there for you and they want you to win, and a lot of pressure. But since then, she's put it all together. She's started to look a lot better. Beat Lipsky. That was one. I picked Lipsky, and as the fight was coming up, I was like, Molly's going to win this fight. I knew she was going to do it, and people were telling me I was wrong, but I'd already committed to that pick. Molly did lose to Gillian Robertson, which I cashed on Gillian Robertson. That was a good dog play I got there. She kind of beat Priscilla Cachoeira. But for me, I think she's going to stop. I think this is a good fight for Molly McCann. Like, I think that Diana's going to come forward, initiate a striking affair, and I think she's just outgunned. I think Molly's got a better chin. I think she hits a little bit harder. I think she goes a little bit harder over the 15 minutes. So I've got Molly McCann to win via TKO, probably inside the first couple of rounds. But it's never easy picking ladies to kind of finish fights. But I think this one for Molly that she can definitely have an opportunity to win. So, yeah. Up next, Charles Rosa makes his return against Manny Bermudez, who... I think, is he moving up to featherweight here? He is moving up to featherweight, which is good because he's had troubles with his weight before in his last few fights. And he's coming off a loss as well to Casey Kennedy, who was a flyweight, but fought very well up at bantamweight. Charles Rose, I've not seen my guy, I totally forgot about. He's been away for 2.5 years, had a couple of really bad surgeries. Big surgeries on bad injuries is what I should say. But what we know about Charles Rosa, I think he's a black belt, really solid fighter, a hard fighter to kind of face. Was doing really well against Shane Burgos before getting caught in that third round. I think he was probably winning that fight. He won the first 2 rounds there and got caught with some vicious strikes. Before that, he beat Bochniak, lost to Yair, which was a close fight. He took him all the way. But yeah, it's been a long time. 2.5 years out of the game's a long time. But the guy puts on exciting fights. If you've seen... I think he's got like 3 or 4 fight of the nights actually in the UFC, so that says kind of a lot about the kind of fights that he brings. Never lost at home in his 2 fights in the UFC. Beat Sean Soriano, beat Kyle Bochniak. Like I say, very tough, durable guy. On the feet, I think he's probably got the advantage. Manny looks a fish out of water on the feet, even though he's long. He's got some dimensions to him, but doesn't overly fight well with them. We all know what he wants to do. He wants to clinch up. And the guy's very tricky on the ground. very, very tricky. You have to be very careful with Manny Bermudez, in my opinion, because you've seen even in that spot with Casey Kennedy. Casey Kennedy got into a couple of spots there where he was really lucky. Well, not lucky. The guy's a pro. He probably knows how to get positions, but he was a little bit away from nearly getting put out there. But Casey was showing his toughness and so on. This is a tough fight for me. I've seen some people have messaged me and they've been speaking about Charles Rosa. I don't think it's a bad bet as an underdog, but I think from what I'm seeing with the line here that Manny Bermudez minus 145, that line I think will tighten up as the fight week comes and goes. So you might get a decent line on Manny Bermudez, and he's long, and I know that he's Charles Rosa's a black belt, but I still think that Manny's got these type of subs that if he can catch you with those long kind of limbs and some of the positions he can put you in, then I absolutely think he can win this fight. So, yeah, say Charles Rosa's got a dog money beside him. So if you like Charles there, you take the shot. I'm going to go Manny Bermudez. I actually think this could be. I think Manny's just going to look to try and clinch up very, very quick, but he is moving up and he's facing bigger guys there. So I don't know. I'm not super confident in the pick, but I'm going to go Manny Bermudez. I think he'll stop him. I think that's what he has to do. I don't think he can win over a 50-minute period, so I'll go Manny Bermudez to win via submission in the second round. Moving on to the main card, we've got Deron Winn against Darren the Dentist Stewart. This is a good fight. There was a lot of jaw-jacking between these two guys on social media. Deron Winn, I really enjoyed his UFC debut. I thought he fought a really silly fight, in my opinion. But in that fight, he didn't show his strongest skill set. He never showed it one little bit. He decided, right, I'm going to plant my feet here, and I'm going to throw fucking bombs. And Eric Spicely's definitely, he's made improvements in his striking as well. He landed a lot on Deron Winn. So Deron, we've seen that he's got a fairly decent chin. But the guy's got a skill set there that he can absolutely dominate people in the middleweight division with. We just didn't see it in that fight. And we've seen Dan Stewart take him down in the past as well. Like I said, I really enjoyed the Eric Spicely fight. I've watched it back 2 times this week, in the last probably 2 weeks actually. There was a lot of strikes that he landed, a lot that Spicely landed, but he never showed his true skill set, which is his wrestling. Mini DC. That's where I think he should use that and try and get the fight to the ground, because Darren could. Darren's like game himself. If you watch some of his old fights coming up through Cage Warriors, his main path to victory was taking guys down and like beating them with a vicious striking, ground and pound. He's kind of went away from that a little bit. And his striking's come on. He got his like the guy was super low in confidence getting into that Liverpool fight, and then he won a couple of fights there. He faced Edmund Shabazian, who the guy's a beast. That's not a bad loss to have in your record. Just got taken down at will, absolutely beat upon. Came back, beat Bavon Lewis. So the guy's shown improvements, and I know I think he's gone full time as well. So he's only going to be making improvements through that. I've bet Deron Winn. I'll come out and say that straight away. I bet him at plus 100. I like that line. I don't think he should have been an underdog. I've seen people say Deron Winn should fight at 170, and yeah, I just don't think. I think he's got that DC type thing there where it's hard to make that lower division. I know he made 205, but he's small. You probably have to cut off a limb to get down to 170. There's no harm in being at 185 and using that to your advantage. He's a small dude, obviously. Use your wrestling. I think he can strike with Darren Stewart. Yeah, I think he can strike with Darren Stewart, but I think he's going to come in here and he's going to use his wrestling. I think there's going to be multiple takedowns, and I think Deron Winn's going to be a mainstay of my DraftKings teams this week by the looks of things, because he can accumulate points pretty much. So I've got Deron Winn either by a massive decision victory or maybe TKO due to strikes, but I think it's going to be via decision. So yeah, pressure, takedowns, keep a hold of him. I think that's how he wins the fight. I've seen Edmund Shabazian do it. I've got nothing in mind saying that Deron Winn can't do it as well. So yeah, women's flyweight division, had a lot of talk about this one. Maycee Barber, Gillian Robertson. People have been messaging me about this for the last week. I like Gillian Robertson as a fighter. I think she's got a really good skill set once it hits the mat. She's very dangerous. But outside of that, she's not great, and she's not really improving in it either. You're not really seeing that improvement with her striking. But once, like I say, her fights, once it hits the mat, she's like really good down there, and you have to be very careful because if you. But in saying that, the fight that she lost down in Brazil, she got the fight to the ground, then she got reversed, and then she got submitted herself. So not saying, not saying that she's invincible on the ground, but that's where her main strength is. We've seen that. Emily Whitmire, she got Molly, she got Veronica Macedo, and she got Sarah Frota. I still think this is the best fighter she's facing in Maycee Barber. Even though she's still green as a fighter, Maycee, I think this is a step up from anybody with the type of pressure that she brings. Now, like I say, there's spots in fights where you can definitely see she's got to work on things. Gigi Aldridge was kind of getting her at distance. I think she maybe started off slow there. Excuse me, guys. But once she starts to put together and she gets in the flow, she's dangerous. Super dangerous. JG didn't want any of that once she got hit with that big shot. Took that knee, wanted out. That's fine. I think Gillian Robertson here, she's probably going to come out, she's probably going to get a takedown, but I think Maycee Barber is going to get back up and she's going to continuously stuff takedowns and absolutely wreck Gillian Robertson in the feet. I think she's just going to absolutely destroy her. I think she's going to put her against the cage. She's going to elbow her. I like Maycee Barber here. I just think she's going to stuff and beat her up in the feet. I really do. That's kind of where I'm going with this one. But recently, me picking girl fights has been absolutely dog doo-doo. So, I've got Maycee Barber. There's a good chance I might end up betting her. In my opinion, I think if she can't get this fight to the ground and she can't establish on the ground, she's going to get beat up. Minus 120 Maycee Barber is at the minute. There's a good opportunity she hits dog money. If she hits dog money, I'm in. Pretty much. Yeah. I see you guys are like, no. That's kind of just how I see this thing going. I like Gillian a lot. I do. I had a huge conversation with Dean Thomas. You will know this guy. Used to fight in the UFC. Dana White's show that he's been on. He was a commentator at Ireland Fights last week. One of the best guys to sit down with, and he says like her skill set on the ground is very good, but she is slow in other aspects, but she is starting to pick that up. She's been in the gym more, especially this camp here. Everything with Joanna, who else from ATT has been fighting there? There's probably been other people I forgot, but she's been in the camp with Joanna. She's been getting absolutely great sparring. I just gut feeling for me is on Maycee Barber. I think she might find it a little bit tough early on. Once she finds her feet, she stuffs takedowns. I think she beats up Gillian Robertson in my opinion. So I've got Maycee Barber via stoppage in the middle to late part of this fight. What's happening, everybody in the chat? It's nice to see everybody in there and looking forward to this fight card this week. And again, apologise if I sound a little bit, but that flu really killed me over the weekend. So yeah, Joe Lauzon against Jonathan Pearce. Simple as, if Joe Lauzon can't get it down and get it done in the first 5 minutes, then over the 15 minutes I think he's going to be in trouble. Jonathan Pearce to me is super green. Wasn't impressed when I really watched him. Nothing really stands out with him except for his durability and maybe his toughness. Something that Joe Lauzon, he's always had that, but it's definitely diminishing. But I don't feel confident in this pick, but I'm going to pick Joe Lauzon to win via submission in the first round. When I watched Jonathan Pearce, I think it was Jacob Rosales he fought in Dana White's Contender show. That was a game opponent who both guys kind of really come in to each other, and really it was just his durability that kind of won him that fight. But like I say, it's tough for me to pick Jonathan Pearce here. It's tough for me to pick Joe Lauzon here. But I think this is going to be Joe Lauzon's swan song. I think he's going to, no matter what, whether he wins this one, whether he loses this one, I think this is the last fight we're going to see of Joe Lauzon in Boston. It makes sense to me to really to really go after him and try and get this win here. But I think he's only got 3 to 5 minutes worth of gas. But I think he's got the better skill set on the ground. But like I said, if this hits round 2 and round 3, there's only going to be one winner in my opinion. And that'll be Jonathan Pearce over the 15 minutes. But I'm going to take a shot on Joe Lauzon. So, submission, round number 1. I could be made to look like an absolute mook with that pick, but give me Joe Lauzon first round sub, and I really hope he kind of puts those gloves down the octagon and says that's it. So yeah. Greg Hardy, Ben Sosoli. Greg Hardy, I don't see him losing till he hits the top 15. Ben Sosoli, I think they're bringing him in here just, I want to say sacrificial lamb, but they thought that with Alan Crowder, and that kind of didn't go down too well. Yeah, I don't really like talking about Joe Lauzon, all in all. Not Joe Lauzon, sorry. Greg Hardy, we all know about his kind of previous past. Luke the Puke, what's up, my man? Yeah, I don't really like talking too much about Greg Hardy, considering what he's done in the past, but that was in the past, I suppose, and he's fully committed himself to being one of the best guys in the UFC heavyweight division, and we need these new guys to come through, and he's did that. There was a lot of people on Juan Adams that last fight. I thought he was a bit of a fraud, showed out that he is. He got hit with some shots, got taken out. Smolikov was definitely a fraud. He should have never ever come back to the UFC, but still very, very green. So Sosoli, I know he's got like 9 fights. I think he was on the Ultimate Fighter, I want to say, the Heavy Hitters one. And nothing's really impressive to me. I just think the speed, the athleticism, the power of Greg Hardy is going to be too much. I think he's going to knock him out in the first round. So pretty simple. Go with Greg Hardy there. Co-main event of the night. A rematch of about 3 weeks ago. Yair Rodriquez, Jeremy Stephens. There's no point in me changing my pick 3 weeks after like a 10-second fight. So my pick's going to be Yair Rodriquez. Yeah, what really annoyed me that night was people calling Jeremy Stephens like a bitch. He didn't want to be in that there, and it's like he caught something across his eye. Like I don't really want to swear, but you don't fuck around with things like that. I know, like if I was to do this, like literally I'm blind in this side. So getting that and having guys throwing fists and with Yair throwing flying knees and flying kicks and fuck knows what he throws, I can see why he would want to not be in that fight after having that, especially when he gave him the 5 minutes. Herb Dean tried to give him as much time as possible, and he couldn't. But supposedly a couple of days after he was fine, so maybe not as bad. But Yair, like I agree, somebody was going on Yair's like mentality. He was going off, and I know he was fine at home in front of his people, in front of his family, but like the way he was acting to Bisping, I was like, Bisping would fucking ruin you, dude. Stop it. He's been retired for a year and he'd still whoop your ass, so stop it. Act a little bit like a kid. This is interesting, obviously over 3 rounds, over the 5. But I'm like I said, I'm still sticking with my Yair Rodriquez pick. If he doesn't get caught, I think he can pick him apart a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to pick Yair. You listen to my breakdown. If you want to go back and listen to that from a few weeks ago, I'll give you all the reasoning there. But I'm seeing a lot of people kind of switch over to Jeremy Stephens after the way Yair Rodriquez reacted. So, yeah, Yair for the win there. That other guy I want to bet is Yair Rodriquez, and he hit plus money in America yesterday. He's minus 105 in the UK. If I could get that plus number, I like minus 105 to be fair. So if it sticks around there, I'll probably end up betting Yair Rodriquez by weekend out. And the main event of the night, we've got Dominic Reyes against Chris Weidman. Hand up straight away. I've struggled with this one. People to me are writing off Chris Weidman far too easily. Far too easily. I'm seeing Max bet this, Max bet that. This is going to be easy. Dominic Reyes is going to run through Chris Weidman. And I'm not in that bandwagon at all. I'm not that. And I think maybe... I don't want to, like, someone's going to, like, basically lost his last fight. And it wasn't a great performance from him last time out. I thought he did enough in that one. But he didn't look great. I think Weidman in this spot is really getting disrespected a little bit. I think, like, someone's come up there, someone said he's getting disrespected. So he's kind of on the same kind of path as I am. But, yeah, he didn't look great last time out. I don't think he basically, if we're looking at that OSP fight, that's a stoppage. Like, he came out there and was murking that dude in the first round. Could have easily got the stoppage there. Kind of started fading in the second round. Then into the third round, it was a little bit. It wasn't close. Reyes was always in the ascendancy, but then caught him with that shot late in the bell. But like the fact he's moving up to a new weight class. Don't like the fact he's had surgeries. And he is facing kind of like the newer generation fighter. That's someone made a good point there about the Luke Rockhold thing. Luke Rockhold hasn't got a chin at all. If you catch him with shots, you can put him down. Chris Weidman, I think he has a chin, but I do think his durability is waning a little bit. But for me here, Chris Weidman can take this guy down, and I think he can keep him there. Now, Reyes, when he has got taken down, he's shown that he can get back to his feet. You would think he has the advantage on the feet. I think he has. I think with his striking, I think he hits harder, obviously, Dominic Reyes. But I'm not sure over a 25-minute fight, if Weidman stays in it early, then I think he could take this guy out late. If he doesn't take those big shots, it's a hard pick for me to make because I see clear ways for Dominic Reyes to really win the fight. But I can see ways where Chris Weidman can stem the flow, survive early, and then start to come into it. But then you're into that middle part of the fight, like in the Jacare fight, where he got hit with a shot and the durability just disappeared. Tough fight for me to pick. Honest, I think Chris Weidman's live in this one. I really do. I think he's getting a lot of disrespect online. On Twitter, I've seen that over the last 24 hours. On Facebook, some of the betting groups I'm on there. On some of the MMA, like Reddit forums, people are disparaging the guy really badly. And I can see why. I can totally see why they're going the other way here. He's only winning the last, 4 years is Kelvin Gastelum, where he caught him there, and he was taking his licks in that fight as well. I really want to pick Chris Weidman, but I can't do it. I can't do it. My pick's going to be Dominic Reyes. I think he's going to get back to his feet, and I think that the tailing blows are really going to hurt Weidman in the middle part of this fight. I feel like I'm being a bit of a pussy with that pick, but yeah, Chris Weidman, I think, I don't know, I've got this feeling with Chris Weidman in this fight. I think he's going to do really well. I think he's going to not do as bad as what a lot of people are thinking, but for me, gut feeling, when I first heard about the fight, and that's something that I try and go on a lot, and then when you watch things, obviously, you see some really good things. Yeah, I'm going to pick Dominic Reyes, knockout in the middle part of this fight. So, this has been awesome seeing the chat in here, guys. I've got the MMA Huddle podcast in the next half an hour. I'm going to make that. I'm going to watch The Walking Dead at 9 o'clock. And then I might come back online and we can just have a little chat session, talk about all things fights. So that could be 11 o'clock tonight, 6 o'clock in the East, and 12 o'clock or whatever, 2 p.m. in the West. So if you want to come and join me, I'm going to try and do some more of these chat things. I really do like talking about it. We can talk about bets, DraftKings, you name it. But this has been great. I wasn't planning really sticking around for 40 minutes, but once I get talking, it just happens that I keep on going. So I appreciate that. Asking Maya's next week. Champ come up there and saying who have I got. I'm not really sure as of yet. I'm going to watch a bit more of that probably over the next couple of days. But yeah, kind of hope. I don't know. I was going to say something, but I'm going to leave it till next week. So if you want to join me tonight, I'm going to be back just chatting a little bit about fights. So if you want to join me, come ahead. Until then, enjoy these fights this Friday night. Don't forget, guys, if you're going to be at Boston, let me know. All the very best. Enjoyed chatting with you guys in the chat. Thanks for the thumbs up. If I get any new subs out of it, I really do appreciate it. Until next week, good luck with all your bets, and I hope all your picks come through. All the best. Thank you, guys.